Hello everyone. So I wanted to do a quick video regarding pyromancy and rings and the effects that they give your pyromancy magic and spells and equipment. So I've been doing some analysis here, and just to give you an idea of what my stats look like right now, this is a level 100 pyromancy character. I've got 30 faith, 30 intelligence right now. If I was going up to maybe like 120, 125, I'd probably make that 40-40, but right now I'm leaving it at 30-30 because as a combat mage, I kind of want to put some points in other stats to give me some more flexibility. So that being said, let's press. So first thing I want to do is calculate the percentages that these rings give as far as damage output goes. So I'm using these guys as test numbers real quick. Basically what you do is you go up to one of these guys and you hit them with a spell. So 612 is our baseline damage amount. And now we're going to equip our swamp ring to start. And we can see the effect change. 703. Now according to my math, that's roughly a 13% increase over 612. And the this ring here, the witch's ring, oops, would help if you had enemies to kill. $764, that's a 20% increase. Now if you put them together, this is pretty much how I normally roll. I normally keep them both on because I like to get both of their damage boosts. $872. That's a roughly 30% damage increase on your pyromancy spells. Now, one thing that's interesting in annotating the fact that the rings stack is if you were a new game and you got a witch's ring +1 or a swamp's ring +1, you could start stacking those rings together. So you could do a witch ring +1 and a regular witch ring. You could stack them both together and get even more powerful pyromancies. So that's something interesting to consider if you're playing through new game. Now on top of these rings, we also have a fire clutch ring right here. Now this one increases your fire attack but compromises damage. And a couple interesting things I found about this ring are that it doesn't just increase your pyromancy spells, but it increases your weapon damage too if your weapon damage has fire output. So as you can see, I'm using Chaos Historic Greatsword +10. It's got an AA scaling and Int and Faith. Pretty awesome. Actually, this weapon by itself has an S scaling in Intelligence if you just do a crystal version of this sword, which I thought was really cool. Chaos S-Stock has a BB scaling. A parrying dagger, nothing on it. But what you can see is that with this off, we're at 540 and 370. Okay. Now with this on, $596, $408. So that's about a 10% increase right there. So pretty interesting. Now this weapon, or I'm sorry, this ring actually also gives you bonuses to your magic. So just to show you a test of that, it actually, the effect is very similar to that of the swamp ring. The percentages are almost identical. 704. It actually comes out in the hundreds of the percent, slightly higher than the swamp ring, but overall it's around 13%. Now what you can do as well is combine all these together and stack them all on here. Just for ridiculous levels of damage. $1,003. Quite a bit higher than your 612. Do some math real quick. 39% higher. That's quite a lot. Quite a lot of extra damage. Now, the problem with the clutch ring is it also increases your, or I should say decreases your defense. So as you can see with my defense, right now it's 14, 4, 10, 9, 22, 24, 16, 21. So it doesn't affect your magic stats, but it does affect your physical damage absorption. Okay. Now if I take, whoops, if I put this off, as you can see, 22, 12, 18, 18. It's roughly a 30% drop. Now, you can kind of negate this if you put that ring on with your Ring of Steel protection. To do that, it almost entirely negates the defense drop. So we're actually slightly higher. We're at 22, 13, 19, 18. So just a little bit higher than we were by default without the ring. But now we get our damage boosts on our weapons, and we also get our damage boost on our spells. So if you were running pure Pyromancy, I mean just all you wanted to do was epic damage, this would probably be the setup to run. As you can see, the rings have a very, very big effect on your output. So normally I go with something like this. This is typically how I would roll. I would have a swamp ring and a witch's ring. Now, you're saying, well, why don't you use the fire clutch ring? I could, but the thing about the fire clutch ring is if I really wanted to negate that defense, I would have to do one of two strategies. The first strategy would be to just forego armor altogether, because really having armor on with such low defense is pointless. So I should take all my points out of vitality, put it all somewhere else, and then just jack out my health even higher, and then use that as my main defense. Use your Vigor as your defensive stat. Okay? That is definitely an option if you wanted to go full-on epic Pyromancy damage. You could just put those rings on there, and your defense ring even, and then or not even your defense ring, actually keep the defense ring off, and you can still use your Chloranthy ring or something else, or the Sage's ring for quick output, so quickly tossing out your spells, and just go with weaker armor, shittier armor, and then jack out your health. You know, you could put another, I think I don't know how many points I have in vitality with this guy, maybe like 5. Could put the rest of those in Vigor, and then if we were going up to 125, 10 more each in intelligence and faith, and put another 5 in Vigor, so that's at 37 Vigor right there. Not quite sure what that comes to health-wise, but it sure as hell will give you 1 or 2 extra hits of absorption, and you still get to maintain that high damage output. So that's definitely an option to consider. Obviously, if you could use the defense ring what we talked about, we could use this, here it is, the Ring of Steel protection. We could use that to increase our defense, but who's to say that we really don't want to use that ring slot for something else, which is why I typically don't run with the clutch ring on. But that's typically kind of my setup. I usually switch this out for the gold serpent ring or the silver or something else, depending on what I'm doing at the time. But those are definitely build options for you when it comes to your rings and trying to maximize damage output for your flame spells and flame gear. So, pretty sure that covers everything I wanted to cover with these rings and how they affect your damage output. So stay tuned for more Pyromancy things going on. I've got, now that I've almost finished this build, I've got a lot of things I want to discuss, things that I've figured out about Pyromancy magic, things that probably be useful to those building this type of build. So stay tuned for more information. Thanks guys for tuning in, and also if you have any other questions regarding Pyromancy or magic, and you think they deserve its own video, or just some questions in general that are good discussion points, please post them in the comments section below so we can talk about it and maybe discover some new and interesting builds that'll take better advantage of certain spell combinations or attack patterns. So thanks again, guys.